Hey YouTube, happy Saturday. I'm back. We're going to work on the large plate as promised. I said we're going to do quite a bit on this. And you can see my plate's got a lot of color on it because me and my patrons, we were hanging out and just doing a lot of techniques. I got a lot of demos that I'll be doing in various parts of the country and the world. As the book rolls out, I've been invited by different companies to do demos and etc. So I'll be in Texas in November with Jelly Arts. So if any of you guys in Texas, it'll be in Allen, Texas, so like North Dallas area. I'm looking at organizing like a one-day hangout. I'm calling them Jelly Plate Labs. So yeah, we're organizing that. So put comments below the video for anybody who'd be interested in that. And hi, I'm Robin McClendon and welcome to my studio. I got so much on my mind. There's so much going on. I'm excited about a lot of things. So with the formalities now done, I'm not at the end of the video, which I sometimes do. Oh my goodness, I have so much to tell you all. So what I thought we would do today is we're going to work on large plate. We're going to work on large pieces of paper. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do because I have some drying here. Just a second. I'll grab one. And so we're going to do this kind of painterly kind of techniques on the plate, sort of using my patchwork. So this is one of them. This is done on the plate with a lot of layers. So there's a number of layers that I did with this. And then we have this style here. A few different ways of kind of coming at it. And what these are designed to do is I'm working them down into smaller pieces. So these are designed to be torn up and literally used as collage papers on cradle boards, on you can do them on back on other substrates like larger sheets of thicker paper like a 320, 360 GSM. They can actually be glued on canvases. There's a lot that can be done with these, but I feel like, or you can just use them as substrates to continue to glue right on top of these with other collage materials. But when I do them, I can just see these sections that it would be so cool to use like on a panel board. Like you literally could put that section down, right? And use that right there. And then come back and do more collage on top of them and things like that. Or you can go with even a much larger panel board and take different sections and glue them down. So we'll play with that. But just kind of wanted to, you know, show you where we're going with it. I thought it was a good way. I've got a lot of paints that I'd like to use up. And this is a good way to use up paints because you don't have to worry about like running out if they're going to go the full you know, length of the plate or whatever. And sometimes they're just bits and pieces that I feel like work better together. So we're going to get started. I have some color down here on the plate. So you're going to see some mixing that's going to happen. Let's go ahead. The way I work this is I'll put color fields down. So I'm going to use some of this pink. I'm going to use some titanium white. And this is a part of my patchwork technique, and since I also show this in the book, like there's ways to build up to this. Let's use some golden steel. And I got this gray. I like to push and pull between dark colors, light colors. Sometimes it's really thick. Like I said, some of this paint is old. So I just kind of like put it right on the plate and start smoothing it out. Let's get some of this yellow. Some of that. And also what's really cool is Celadon. Grab some Celadon. I find that it just works well in some of these areas. And I had this other one I was using. It's like it's matte acrylic. It's the Blick Pink Deep, but honestly, it's like it won't mix. So what I was doing is literally just allowing some of the residue to come out. I think it's like really hard down there. So like it's the end, but this color is really good. It's kind of like acting like an ink. So it's just kind of staining. So even as a paint that just has like, it's basically ready to throw away, but it's separated. So I found that color, it stains the plate really nicely. I'm sorry, I had to change my battery there. So any little adjustment that happened. So let's go ahead now using our roller. I always start, I don't have any, got some cream. Let's put a little bit of white right here. So you can see this is the 16 by 20 plate. So I've just kind of put stuff different places. I know I'm going to be picking some of this color up underneath, which I'm excited about. So I always start with the lighter colors. So you can see I have Payne's Gray there. I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to go over here too, also to this unbleached titanium, then a little bit of the Celadon. I'll hit this pink. So because I use the same brayer and I really want the colors to move around nicely and really blend in a real painterly kind of way, I just work from the lightest to the darkest color. And you really want to see it do this color mixing like that, but you don't have to worry about kind of getting anything like perfectly brayered. Now I want some of this, let's say over here. So I'm just going to kind of run it that way. That's why I only used a little bit of the dark color so that now I'm going to use, I have a chopstick here, a wooden one. So I break up the surface. And this is where we also get a real monoprinted sort of painterly kind of effect. I also have these grout tools. Now I don't like to make too many of these, like, I don't like the little strippy type of thing with them. That's just me. But I do take it, different sizes of it, and break up the paint just to kind of, not only does it move color around, but it just kind of moves that around. Then I'll come back and break some of that back up with my stick, which acts like a sort of a paintbrush. So, you see it. So what we're looking for is sort of a change in line without it really being so obvious. What we're doing or what we're using, we're just kind of really breaking the surface up. And it just does, it's kind of cool because it moves the paint around in some really cool ways. And then when we go ahead and pick this up, right away, we're going to have some really neat things happening. This is like, this paper is pretty thick. I'd say that it's probably like maybe a 300 GSM weight. It's not real thick and it's not really thin either. So about a 300, maybe between a 280, 300 is good. So even like you could use paper in a large pad that's like drawing paper or watercolor paper. This is smooth. So, you can use your cold press. A hot press. Gives you a nice smooth surface. Okay, so we really want to get this really good deal here. We'll go ahead and pick it up. You'll find there's quite a bit left down there because of the amount that we use. But what's really cool about it is that it's not all wet and sticky either, the way it's distributed on the plate. So see, that first print is some kind of good. It really has that real painterly look. I mean, you literally could use this as a background and then go right and start collaging on top of it. There's a lot of good stuff going on there. See how we broke that line up? So you see a little bit of it, but it doesn't look so obvious. So yeah, I like that. And I have a tendency to fill up the whole paper. So what I'm going to do, so I'll put some more down. So we have this sort of yellow here. So let's get a little bit more of the, and you just kind of can keep on working on this, right? And as it dries, that's going to pick up color. I'll put some pink down here. So I like to put sort of light on the plate over dark, and sort of a dark over a light. I'm going to put some quinacridone. So I'm going to make that the last thing so that a little bit of yellow. Put some yellow over here maybe. So just kind of whatever colors you put down, just kind of think about moving them to a different place on the plate. And you can totally change your color palette too. But since I kind of want everything to work together on, you see, I want to put some of this quinacridone right here. Really trying to use a lot of mine up, so the bottles have been upturned. Come on. I'll use this one. This is a 𝐕𝐄𝐄 one. That's a little not the same as the Goldens, but in terms of like the qualities of pulling, like the way the Goldens does. But it gives you actually kind of gives you more of a burnt orange kind of look to it, but it's in the ballpark. You can see that. So I'm going to kind of move that around the plate, and 𝐕𝐄𝐄, as I know, is still making this one. So see that? See how it really gives us a nice painterly look. I like this chopstick because it moves the paint around, but it's very gentle. The strokes are really gentle, so I kind of like really like to, it's just a nice way to move that paint around. Then I'll use the end of this kind of, it's a metal tool. I use this really gently because it does move a lot of paint. You kind of get through to the plate with it. And it's cool, but I'm just careful with it on the plate. I don't like really dig into it like you would with the sorry. Let's see, I'm thinking like I would with the wooden tool. And then let's come back and just kind of break this up a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, because I have pieces still here and we're working with the same color palette, I like to go and start picking more paint up. So I'm going to take this and put it kind of down here and pick some more color up. I like to fill the entire sheet up. Why waste anything when I'm going to be using this as collage material? And next week, we'll do a session where we'll actually, I'll be working on a decent sized cradle board to kind of show you all some of my ideas. Now I want to just get some of this at the top, and I'm not going to lay this whole thing down. So as long as you don't lay it all down, you're not going to pick up a lot of, because I don't want to disturb a lot of the middle that I had there. Just where you press is where it's basically going to pick up. that's looking good. So wherever you want things to show up, so I'll put this up top here. Let's grab some more of this up in this corner. Just press in that area. Okay. So we got some really good stuff there. You see we're getting, it's very, very painterly. I love this technique. It's like a part of that patchwork technique, but we're doing it on a large plate. So you just get a whole lot more rhythm and movement. Get oh, this is so good. So I just kind of keep on, you know, once you get this second layer down, just kind of keep on picking up color, putting things where you want it. And because we've really recreated that same palette, you see how it just really becomes very harmonious. I mean, look how quickly we did this. This is just really good stuff, but it's got a lot of movement. There's a lot of layers going on, and it's really ready to, you can keep on working on top of it. Sometimes I sponge other inks on it, which is a whole nother technique, but let me grab something from right here. And then we'll let that dry. But that's totally ready either to continue, like a lot of times I'll let it dry and then I'll come back with more layers. You can then, you know, of course, I can use other, you can do inks on top of them. You can come back and stamp or use stencils on top of them if you want to keep on breaking it up. Like you could come back with white paint and just do a whole section with white that you've really scraped through, so you really pull back some color. Like I'll show you right now what I'm talking about. Well, I'll let this, no. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Do it now so you can see it. And then we're going to come back and use this and pick all of that up. So let's say I want just a little bit, maybe I just want a color block. So let's put some white down. We don't need a lot, honestly, because you want to see, but you want to still see what's beneath it. So you don't want it to be just all sort of obliterated. And let me just kind of clean this off. So I want it to be thin enough and then I'm going to take my stick. Let's really break this up. Nothing to do with flat surface. And then I'm going to use the finer one to really make some marks through here. So that when we're done, we're going to get a lot, we're going to still see a lot through there. Okay. So let's say, like I feel like maybe I have a little bit too much of the same thing, let's say in this corner right here. Let's go ahead and grab this. I'm going to really let it pick things up. Excuse me for sniffing a little bit. My allergies have been working on me here. Okay, so see how we just get this really beautiful. See what that did? So it you know, it didn't take care of, it didn't get rid of all of our color. It just lightened it up a little bit, and it creates, since it was the green all the way up, it just created another kind of color block there without being too much. And you know, you could keep on building it up any kind of way you want. But I just wanted to show you that. So you can also take the plate and just take portions and blocks of it and then add color that way. Okay, so let's go on to our next one. We're going to pull another sheet. And with this, I want to do just quite a bit of color still on here. So let me find... I am going to work with this quinacridone. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to. But I'm going to show you a few things we can do. I got this Liquitex ink that I've been playing with. I really love it. You can put your ink on the plate. It's called Muted Pink. It's such a good color. And we can do that. And let me get the unbleached titanium. Put some of this down. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of quinacridone. So, because, you know, we've got to be sort of frugal with it. And so let's go ahead and roll this out. I think I'll put a little bit of the Blick Matte White too, just to give me a little bit more viscosity. This is a little bit more fluid. Okay. Okay, that's good. I want to get some color, but at the same time, I know that we got a lot of color down there that I want to pick up. Just want to make sure I have enough on here because the plate's big, so you have to put more on than normal. We're making a new print, so see that ink, how it moves around, and then we got our quinacridone. So you get something exciting that starts happening, and you're not trying to brayer everything out. You know, you want to kind of keep it loose and painterly. And then let's get our chopstick or any blunt edge thing that you have that can kind of move it. And there's a lot of things you can use. I'm just keeping it simple so that you can see with just a few simple tools what, you know, can be done. And then we're going to break some of those lines back up again. Talked about. This should be good. And then using that really thin tool again, I like to just kind of get some thin lines in there. So something that kind of really, you have the sort of the soft lines, and then I kind of like to really break that surface up so that the white paper will come through too, and it'll you know, it just gives you a whole nother look. Okay. So you see how that muted pink really is, it does a lot of, it almost does staining, similar to like just inks. I mean, they're acrylic inks, but I like the staining effect that it comes when you mix it in with, you know, your other paints. Now this, we should pick up a lot of what was underneath there, of what was on top. So I thought this would be fun for us to work on together. These patchwork techniques, just sort of showing you different ways you can work with your, and now this, you could totally, with this technique on the large plate, you could totally print both sides and then turn it into book pages, just painted book pages all ready to go. You could do these pages and kind of create an art journal where, you know, there you already have some stuff down and it's ready for you to do more collaging on it. And it's just endless. this technique. Okay. Oh yeah, this is good. Look at that. So see, now we have a more muted palette by sticking mostly to those whites and creams. I've just put a little bit of that quinacridone down, a little bit of that muted pink. See how it just really muted the background nicely? And yet, look how much movement and texture and layering just in this one pool. That's what I like about my patchwork technique, is that you really can get a lot in, you know, one pool. Now we're building up on the plate. So we already have some information down on this plate, but that was just 2 pools. And look what we got. So let's come back, and I want to get something across that bottom. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the unbleached titanium. I'm going to work in this area, so I'll pull up some of the quinacridone. I'm going to get some more of this muted pink so we can get a little bit of stuff mixing in. And I really want to get this across the bottom just to kind of finish it off. So same thing, let's just break this up. I made it sort of thin because, you know, like when you kind of want to start cleaning your plate up, you can thin it out some. And we're going to grab the bottom so we can get something with it. It's going to be thin, so I'm going to kind of rub it really good and make sure. Oh, that's good. So let's grab that in. See how it just blends so beautifully because we're using the same palette. And we're also picking up, you know, some of the stuff that's underneath too. So we're getting a lot of transfer of information, which is what monoprinting is all about. It's really about transferring a lot of stuff off of your plate. In you know, it's a monoprint. You're only going to get that one time, but you know, it can really be amazing. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Let's grab some of this right here. So you can see in a very short period of time, we've picked up, that fan finally decides to stop. That background noise you hear, it's the air conditioning. And it's, the blessing is that it's, you know, above my work table. So it helps me to stay cool with all the lights and stuff on. But the downside is that you hear its noise. So this is good to go. I mean, obviously there's so much more we can do, but we've been hanging out for a bit here. I wanted to just kind of show you a few techniques. And I'm using up a lot of my old paints. I mean, I just have paints here that, you know, I really need to get rid of. But you can see that was one palette. This is a completely different palette. But you could see how we could begin to collage segments together. Like you could, you know, the goal would be to rip these up and use different segments with each other. You see how nicely that would look together, you know. So we're gonna work with these. So you know what? Let me just go ahead and finish this sheet here. Let's do another bit. Oh, I really like the way that muted color is going. So I think I'm gonna do another. Let's just do another pass of some titanium and some white. I want to use, I'll use a little bit of the pink. Why not? Finish this up. Let's get the muted pink in here. Like I said, this is the Liquitex and the muted pink. And then I think I'm going to use a little bit of the Arteza Aztec Gold. Why not? I normally do gold as the final layer. So even if I wanted to come back, you know, I would come back and work with this gold. Maybe as you know, segments over top of this in a like in the color block that I showed you with the white, so it doesn't get lost. So let's just do this. Okay. And love breaking up the surface. And that's when you break the surface up, you can see it really hangs in there from print to print. So that's where you start getting a lot of that overlapping, and it becomes really painterly because, you know, it's really transferring layer to layer to layer, which is so cool. And this is so freeing. Like, you don't have to overthink it. You get some amazing results just having fun. Just kind of think of it like a, you know, large painting. It's a monoprint. And like I said, I'm just kind of showing a lot of things. I have paint brushes that I use. I use different types of all kind of stuff. Anything that will make a mark and won't damage the plate, I use. Okay, so I just want to finish this off. So I want to get some here. So I'm kind of going to take that all the way across. And I'm just pressing, you know, just where you press is where it's going to pick up. So you don't have to worry about all of that transferring across your whole print. You just want to pick up bits and pieces so that, you know, we're doing the patchwork, just kind of color blocking. So I need to get this top layer there. And that way you have a full piece ready to go. Oh, this is good. Something down here. A little bit there. I just kind of tap it down and pick up things where I sort of have empty spots, and you really just get, oh, look how good that looks. Oh my God. That's good stuff. I mean, that's just pretty. Look, it's just a pretty background. Ready just to do any kind of collaging on. I mean, as book pages, can you imagine printing both sides and then, you know, tearing them down into pages? Then you can collage on top, paint on top, draw, you know, use your Posca pens if you want to paint images. I know a lot of you guys do beautiful portraiture faces and that kind of thing. Look how cool it would look on something like this. Flowers, landscapes. I mean, the sky's the limit. No pun intended. So there we have it. Now, since we have this on here, and I'm going to need to clean this up anyway, I'll do it with you all. I'm going to use, I find that, of course, you know, I have a piece of my, what do you call it, you know, my glassine down here. And it already has some inks on it because I was using it to dry paper. So let's just go ahead and pull with this. So I think what I'm going to do, because of course, I want to get an outstanding pull. And right now, the only thing on the face of the planet that does this, that's in short supply, of course, is quinacridone. So we're just going to put some of this down. You could use a white too. But I think I want the drama of this quinacridone in this pull. And I know that it's going to pull really good on this plate. So let's just go ahead and distribute it. But you could use any color. The green gold works well, of course. Like I said, any kind of clay-based white will do it. Okay, but I really want to get this. I'm pressing this into the plate good because I want to get it down. Okay, I'm back. I realized that I was putting this down. The camera stopped. So since I was going to let it sit on here for a while, like it's been, hopefully it won't stick. Sometimes, every now and then, this glassine will stick if I leave it down too long. But it's been on about 7 or 8 minutes now, so let's see what we get. We should get some really good results. So far, so good. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness, this is good. So this is some more really good collage paper. And look how we're getting. The plate is nice and clean. Not that much left behind. Oh, this is good. You can see it's not a whole lot left on there. It's kind of hard to see because I have this mat underneath there, but you can see the plate is really pretty clean. Just a little bit left on there. But look at the print. Sorry about that. My battery ran out. But anyway, look at this. And even that ink that was originally down on there, look at how that just added a really cool layer from what I had, you know, use this as a waste sheet, but look at that. So this is perfect to also blend in and use as collage pieces with our, you could literally use this to cover the entire, I've used this to cover the entire board, and then I'll collage and glue on top of it, continue to collage on top of it. You can see, oh my God, that's just good. Look at that. And you can get, you know, a large one, you can get several smaller ones, and you can continue to move on top of it. This really glues down onto the cradle board really nicely. So we have that one, we have this one, and they're all going to work together nicely because we kind of, you know, kept working our palettes pretty tight and then working over top of them, but you can sort of see how good that is. Next to this one. And then we have this one that's a completely different kind of color direction because we have a little bit of that quinacridone down. We kind of kept some of the colors consistent. You can see where this could actually be beautiful collaged with this. So if we're thinking about segments, because we're talking about tearing these down and then collaging with them, this is a good way to kind of get really some painterly collage papers that can really glue down on a cradle board. You can get some really sophisticated, really, you know, like gallery elevated looking prints with this type of technique. And they're very interesting, they're complex, you know, with this sort of color blocking. So I wanted to share this with you all. Next week we'll come back and we're going to use these exact papers and we are going to do some collaging on cradle board, and you can see exactly how I would work these into just a beautiful finished piece of art. So that's everything. Love you guys. It's been a lot of fun hanging out as always. Please make sure that if you're new to the channel and you want to be notified of my every Saturday YouTube videos, hit the bell, hit all, and then you'll get the notifications. I invite you to come to Premiere every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. I'm on there. We're over there chatting it up right now. In fact, we're probably saying goodbye, but we do a lot of sharing and within the community, and you get to meet people that are maybe near you that you didn't even know. I've found people live right around the corner from me. It's like really, literally crazy. And they thought I lived all the way in New York somewhere. It's really insane. So please do that. Hit the bell. Hit the thumb up to let YouTube know that you really enjoyed this video. And it really does help to expand our community. And more people will find out about, you know, these techniques. So that's everything. Love you all. Have amazing, amazing rest of your days. And happy creating, fun in your studio. And so much from my heart to you. Love you guys. And just, you know, have the best day. Alrighty. Bye-bye.